Well, I finally got a door hinge for my 1994 Nissan Sentra B13 two-door. I have been searching for a door hinge for so long, and I finally found it. Today is April 7th, 2020, and we are right in the middle of the coronavirus situation. And I haven't worked for several weeks, and I probably won't work for several more weeks. So this is a perfect opportunity to tackle this project. I was truly blessed to be able to find this. I found it on gspec.com. This is a company that is apparently down in City of Industry, California, which is right in the middle of Los Angeles. And the part apparently came from Sacramento. So reading the little paper here, it does say Sacramento. That as it may, the part has arrived, and they actually send you a couple of Tootsie Pops too, which is kind of strange in this coronavirus situation that we got going on. But anyway, might have those later. So here is the hinge. I have not taken this out and compared it. It's very difficult to see this hinge, to say the least. It's very difficult. It's going to be really hard to change this. In fact, I think I'm probably going to have to pull my front fender off. This is the door hinge, the lower door hinge for the driver's door. The problem is that it is worn right here. The bushing is gone, and this part here is actually worn, so there's a whole bunch of play in the old one. And we'll see that closer as we get that off. But as I said, the problem is going to be getting to this. So this will be the car side, the firewall side, and then the door will be here. And this is currently in the open door position. So when I'm in there looking at this is all I see. And the only space I have is right here. You can't see any more than just right in here because the firewall's right here. And so in order to get to the bolts, these two bolts right here, I'm going to have to get my hand down in there, and there's just no way. I am not a big man. I'm only 5'9". I have medium-sized hands at best, and there's just no way I can just see it. I could get these two bolts off, but I'm not going to be able to get these. I can get probably a socket in there, but with a ratchet, it's just going to be a mess. So now we'll close the door. That's as open as it'll get. It won't open up very wide. But now we'll close the door, and there we go. Obviously, I can't get to it from the inside now. But if we take our fender off up here, now look at the space we got. Fender gone. Now we could get to all those bolts. So I'm pretty sure what I'm going to have to do is pull my right front fender. I'm not really looking forward to that because oftentimes it's not as simple as just taking 15 or 20 bolts off to get the fender off. Oftentimes you have to remove other things as well, like the bumper and other parts that you didn't expect to. So it could turn into an all-day project. So I'm very, very sure I'm going to end up having to do that. Finally, the weather's nice. So let's get out there and have a look at this situation and make a comparison just from looking at it and making sure that this is the correct one, the correct hinge that I need. So let's do it. Let's go out there and check this situation out and get started on this project. So I do have plenty of sockets, all kinds of different sizes. I've got American and metric, and I've got a bunch of wrenches, American and metric as well, so I should have something to get that hinge off with. And as far as the fender goes, I should have everything I need to take that off. Okay, with the door open, clearly we can see back here if it's not too dark. that there is just absolutely no space for me to get my hand in there with the wrench. I can get those two bolts off, and looking at it, comparing the new one with the old one, it does look like the same hinge. Pull this pin out and see if that doesn't give me a little bit more open door. Okay, I just broke these three top bolts loose. They're 10 millimeter, and I already see a problem with the end of the fender here. It's going to be mounted somewhere down here. There's nothing, I can't feel any screw up underneath there, so it looks like the headlight's going to have to come out, which sucks. But I'm hoping that I can just pull my fender loose and be able to just literally pull it out here 4 or 5 inches and then be able to access that. So we're going to start in the top. I need to get these two. These are hood. Oh, doggone it. These are hood mount. So I don't know what that's going to do when I unbolt those. Is my hood gonna go all cattywampus here? Guess we'll find out. And I see a screw right here that I'm gonna have to break loose. So I was incorrect. That hood mounting bracket there, the hinge bracket, is not part of the fender. I didn't look at it very closely, and now that I look at it, that has nothing to do with the fender. So I don't have to bother with that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do before I unscrew any more bolts is I'm going to get my jack out and get underneath there so I can get it up a little bit, because I'm going to have to get down on the ground, and that'll help me out a little bit there by jacking this thing up a little bit. Alright, well, the things you discover sometimes. My little hydraulic jack is just slightly too tall to fit under there, so I've got to jack it up. So I decided to go ahead and pull the original scissor jack out that I've always known is in here, this little compartment, but there is no handle for it. So I've been driving this car around for 20 plus years, and I have no handle for the scissor jack. That is nice to know. Okay, I can't get that pin to budge. I don't think it's going to help me at all anyway. So I'm just going to leave it unless I just absolutely have to remove it. I also had to crank my wheel over because I've got a screw right here. So I'm going to start on those. I couldn't find anything underneath, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something. Okay, I got all the wheel well screws out of there. I've got this screw out of here, and then I discovered another bolt down here on the inside, way down here in the dark. Got the one up here out, and then there's one right there. Alright, I found 2 more bolts down here that I could not see before because that thing was in the way. So now I gotta get back down there and take those out, and then I think I'm done. Okay, you might be able to tell by all the debris and dirt that I broke it loose. And when I did that, oh, look at all that stuff coming out of there. It's definitely going to be interesting. But I think I'm ready to pull my fender, at least pull it away and see what we can do. Access my hinge. See that? As my neighbor starts up their lawn tools, I can get to my hinge from here. So let's go ahead and start unbolting that. Okay, I'm going to try to do this with my door closed. It is extremely dirty, filthy down here, but that's okay. So I'm definitely going to be able to get to those 4 bolts. So I'm going to get my big socket out and breaker bar and see if we can do it with the door closed. That would be ideal. Alright, with the fender pulled out like that, I'm able to pretty easily get in there with a big Craftsman breaker bar, although those weren't really tight. Okay, that thing was pretty stuck on there. I actually had to start to open the door in order to break it loose. I tried hammering on it and it wouldn't come loose. So we'll do a comparison. And that is looking pretty good, isn't it? I don't have this little nub there. But we'll do a little bit closer comparison, but I would say that is the one I need. Yep, everything looks the same. You can see how much that one has worn. There's quite a bit of play in there. Alright, let's put it back together. Alright, the 2 bolts on the door are in. They sucked down all the way, and then I backed them off the course to keep them loose. Now let's put the firewall bolts on. Okay, I definitely had trouble getting all those bolts to finger tight down. They just did not want to go. But they're all down as finger tight as I can get them, so now it's just time to start torquing on them. Okay, got everything torqued down properly. It's all looking pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and test out our door. I can see it's already hanging better than it was. It's still down slightly, but whenever I'd open it up, it would drop. Oh, it should have dropped right there, yeah, because it was hanging on this. Yeah, it was resting on this. You can see it's rubbed off some stuff because it was so worn. There we go. Let's see how it closes. Oh, that's so nice. Because I would have to lift it up. I would have to come in here and use a handle and help it get over that. That is so nice. Now let's check and see if there's any play like there was before. I cannot. There is no play there at all. Wow, that is cool. Well, that is good news. I got my driver's door back. The passenger door has no play at all in it as well because it rarely gets used. So I wish I was done with this job right now, but I'm not. I gotta put all this stuff back together. So you can see all the play in that old hinge. That thing was pretty loose. It would have eventually broken. Okay, in closing, I've got my wheel well mounted all back to the fender and all the way down to the bottom screws that hold the fender. But then I forgot to put that final piece on, so now I'm gonna have to get back down there and take off all that stuff on the very bottom and install that piece. It wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't on there, but I want to have it on there. So I've got the worst part of it done. The wheel well mounting was definitely the most challenging. I think I could have left the wheel well mounted to the fender itself and just pulled the fender away. I don't think I needed to do that. I would have certainly tried it next time because that was a real drag getting that thing back together. So all I got to do is finish the top bolts and the bolts inside the door. So this was a fun project. I definitely enjoyed doing this. It is a lot of work having to take that fender out of there like that in order to get to the hinge, but that's the way it is. So hopefully I'll never have to do that one again. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.